Yeah. 10-7 at the half. Dallas back after.
It really was, and he just drew it up, and it was the drop back. Safety blitz was on by the Cowboys, and they had anticipated it perfectly.
Well, Earl Ferrell executed this play to the letters as he goes up into the line, fakes a block, waits for everything to clear, and then gets past Lockhart. And Gene Stallings drew that play up for us last night, and that's exactly the way it worked, Al.
Made it 7-3, and then Dallas was able to retake the lead, but they did pay a little bit of a price in a very anxious moment here as Herschel Walker goes in for the touchdown, but winds up running into the barrier, taking a cameraman with him. He came back into the game, and we'll try to find out about the cameraman for you as well. But Walker, lucky he wasn't injured seriously. He did come back into the game, and then how do you figure what happened on the last play of the half? A 42-yard field goal attempt.
Dan, how did you really feel about this?
Well, I mean, I'm still a little bit incredulous about the whole thing. I mean, 42 yards is well within Del Greco's range, and you really have to wonder what's going through Gene Stallings' head to make a call like that. A chance, I think, that has very little, a play that has very little chance of succeeding.
You know, I think it was what he put to us last night. He has made a couple of calls like that in the past. I think he feels he's going to need a lot of points tonight against the Cowboys. He told us he thought this would be a high-scoring game when we asked him. But nevertheless, it's a questionable call that he's going to have to look back at the end of the game and see whether it was the right call.
But listen to this crowd behind us. You can hear what they think of that call. The Cardinals are being booed as they come back out onto the field here in Tempe, and frankly, justifiably so. One of the weirdest calls I've ever seen.
And as you mentioned, Frank, they booed Bidwell when he was introduced. What honeymoon period?
All right, we'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
The Cardinals have had the entire halftime to mull over that bizarre ending to the first half, and now they'll receive the kick to start the second half. Taking it at the 2-yard line is Sikahema. 20, 30, and out to the 31-yard line, Gary Cobb makes the tackle. So now with the lights taking full effect, full darkness, nice night in Tempe, Arizona. It's shortly past 7 o'clock Mountain Time. 14:50 to play in the third period. Third quarter just underway. Dallas on top by 3.
Well, now we'll see how the Cardinal offensive team responds. Really an excellent drive on their part to move it into scoring position at the end of the first half. Let's see if that fake field goal bothered them.
Well, there are the baseball scores, and appropriately with Packard Field in the background. Jeffries 4 for 4 for the Mets tonight. So he stays very hot, hitting .462 as Ferrell carries the ball out to the 35-yard line, a pickup of about 4. And in the American League, Cleveland routing the Yanks in the 7th. Tigers somehow trying to bounce back from that unbelievable loss yesterday in 18 innings, 4-3. Boston leading Baltimore 5-1 in the 7th. And the other scores. Start of play in the American League today. Boston leading the Yanks in Detroit by 3.5. A look over the shoulder of Leonard Smith on 2nd down and 6 from the 35-yard line. Stump Mitchell gets to the outside, turns the corner, threads and picks his way for a first down. Nice move by Stump Mitchell.
Certainly a different style than a Herschel Walker, but nonetheless effective. You can see the Cardinals with the total yardage edge up and down the line, the passing.
Big edge in possession.
But still, it's Dallas on the scoreboard, 10-7. A missed field goal by Del Greco, and then an unsuccessful fake field goal attempt.
First and 10, Phoenix from the 42-yard line. Awal's in motion. And Lomax for Green, who had a big first quarter, and then he was silent in the second quarter. And he is stopped at the 41. A first down. Everson Walls makes the tackle.
I think the Cardinals are smart to pass on first down. The Cowboy defensive line is playing about a yard off the ball. Hey, that's one more yard they have to travel to get to the quarterback, and they're not getting to the quarterback. Just a simple out pattern that time by Roy Green, and Walls has no choice but to play off, give him some room when the Cowboy defensive line isn't pressuring the quarterback.
And over the years, Green has been so successful against Walls, but you're so right. You don't get all that dealing on first down by the defensive line.
Quick toss to Stump Mitchell. And he gets banged down at the 38-yard line by the middle linebacker, Eugene Lockhart, known as the hitting machine. At least formerly known as that. He's had his problems with injuries, but trying to bounce back as strong as ever this season. And they need him because they really do have linebacking difficulties.
Mike Hagman out with an injured knee. They'll get him back. They will not get Jeff Rohr back this year. And, of course, their second-round draft pick, Ken Norton of UCLA, he'll probably not be back this year.
And then Jesse Penn, their very talented second-rounder from a number of years ago. He's out of football with a neck injury that isn't going to allow him to play any at all in the future.
Cowboys show blitz on 2nd and 6, and down he goes. Danny Noonan down showing blitz, and he had to be picked up, and Noonan is able to take a easy path to the quarterback.
They picked up Michael Downs, and it just cleared Noonan with a path all the way to the quarterback.
They got so preoccupied with Lockhart and Michael Downs there in the middle. The left guard, Pete, comes down to pick off Downs, but he forgets the man on top of him, Danny Noonan. You know, one of those inside guys can back out and go back into coverage, but you know this guy's coming after the quarterback. You can't ever turn a defensive lineman loose.
Now Randy White comes in to spell Noonan, ironically, on a pass rush situation after the Noonan sack. 3rd down and 12. Over the middle, wide open at the 24-yard line is J.T. Smith, and he takes it inside the 10.
They go right back to where they have been hitting in the first half against Robert Williams, filling in for the injured Ron Francis. Number 23 is Williams. Now he has help to the inside, not his man. They're in his zone defense, but reading it very well with J.T. Smith. He also read the zone, as did Lomax. He turned it off square, gave him the target, gets the completion, but a flag is down.
And it may be coming back.
Yeah, the flag is clear back up by midfield, up at the 47-yard line, and it definitely is going to be brought back. Dropped by one of the officials over on the sideline, and Gene Stallings is livid. He's 4 or 5 yards out onto the field, and
illegal formation. Number 67 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
well, they're going to say that Luis Sharp, the left tackle, was more than a yard off the ball. Sometimes offensive tackles will drop back off of the ball to kind of give themselves some space. Kennard, number 70, there is a center. Look how far back 67 Sharp is off the ball. You must have 7 guys up on the line of scrimmage. And Luis Sharp that time, I think, clearly back. The problem with that is that officials will let that ride. They'll let it ride. They won't call it. They won't call it. And then all of a sudden, here comes the flag. And look at the critical situation. It burns the Cardinals.
Do you tend, though, Dan, to start dropping back a little more, and then the Randy White comes in, sets up on the outside of you, and you sneak back a little more?
Yep. It's a good technique.
A 39-yard difference, a 5-yard loss instead of a 34 gain, and going deep and well covered on the play. The crowd wants a flag. Ernie Jones, who caught 1 pass in the first half. No markers down. Walls and Bates had him sandwiched.
You're going to see more contact this year between defensive backs and receivers than you have in the past that don't draw flags. I think the league has been pretty plain in saying we're going to give a little more leeway to the defensive backs. Walls going stride for stride, and the ball not catchable anyway. Clearly 2 yards out of bounds.
Horn angling his kick, or attempting to, and can't. It bounces into the end zone and comes back out to the 20-yard line. The score remains Dallas 10, Phoenix 7, 10:37. The barely deserve it, but the winner of this game is going to be tied for first place in the NFC East at the end of it.
Strange things happening all over the league.
Yeah.
Indianapolis and Cleveland, we go in there, they're both in trouble early.
The Cardinals are moving the ball. I mean, they just have to stop self-destructing when they get in scoring position. We've been talking about it the entire telecast.
Dallas has the football at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Herschel Walker gets about 3. 10 minutes and 28 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Dallas on top, 10-7. And of course, Walker was picked by Dallas in the 5th round because he was playing in the USFL when his number came up in the draft. Dallas took a gamble, and it really paid off. And for a team that's had a lot of trouble with its draft choices in the 80s, that was a beauty.
Just let that sink in a moment there. Nobody in the 80s has been to the Pro Bowl except Walker.
A first down for Herschel. To the 34-yard line he goes. Stopped by Young. Funny thing, talking with Walker last night, he's one of the few athletes who says, I don't watch any other football. I don't like to watch football. I want to play it, period.
Well, he liked to watch his offensive line there. Tom Rafferty in the middle. picked up 2 of the Cardinals and allowed Walker up in between the 2 guards to make that big gainer. But a unique individual, wouldn't you guys say? I mean, to sit and talk to him, his goals, his views on life, gives you the impression that really nothing gets to him. Almost unshakable.
Fake toss, swing it out here to Kelvin Martin, and a nice tackle by number 41, the cornerback Carl Carter.
That's the quick screen where the linemen come out from the inside, and to make that happen, you need that cornerback, Carter in this instance, to be playing 4 or 5 yards back off the ball. It's not going to work when he's giving man-to-man coverage like that. The separation isn't nearly enough. Carter forces quickly and makes a good open field tackle.
What a fine group of young receivers they've developed here with the Cowboys. All of a sudden, with Mike Sherrard, their #1 pick a year ago, out for the season with that broken leg. Mike Renfro is out IR with a pulled groin, and all of a sudden they've got a very talented young crop of receivers.
2nd and 7. They had Walker split as a wide receiver, and they're going too deep. What happened was Walker broke off his pattern and went to the sideline, and Pelluer, thinking he was going to run a fly pattern, went deep because they had Herschel set up one-on-one with a cornerback.
That's not Pelluer. That is generally always the receiver. You'll see Walker on a full sprint. That's what's been called. He turns on the speed, sees that's not happening, and he breaks off Leonard Smith, thinking to himself, boy, am I going to be open? And he was open, but that ball is on the way.
Well, what that involves is both the quarterback and the receiver reading the coverage, the type of zone, whether it was man-to-man or whatever, and making an adjustment from there. A clear misfire.
3rd and 7 from the 36-yard line. Pelluer from the shotgun sends 3 receivers into the pattern, and then tries to run for a first down, but comes up a couple of yards short. He is stopped at the 41-yard line and barks at the head linesman.
He wants a late call.
Yep.
He wants a late hit call. One of the Cardinals came flashing by and does land on top of, I think it was Freddie Joe Nunn, number 78. Did come along and sit down on the top of Pelluer after he'd already hit the ground, but no flag. Former #1 draft choice as a linebacker out of Mississippi, and then converted to defensive end, where his size and his upfield speed have really helped him. Led this club in sacks last year with 11.
Saxon. His punt fielded at the 21 by Sikahema. Marker down. Sikahema runs it back out to the 26, and a flag down near the line of scrimmage. And Red Cashin telling us it's an illegal receiver, ineligible man, in this case downfield.
Well, this will be a good call for the Cardinals. They didn't get much of a return, but it wasn't a very long kick. But I would imagine with a guy like Sikahema back there that you're going to make him kick it again.
It was a 38-yard kick and a 5-yard run back.
Illegally down the field, number 53 of the kickers, 3 or 4th down.
Garth Jacks was the man.
Now you ended up forcing the Cowboys into only a net 33-yard punt right there. Let's see how this works out for the Cardinals, making them kick again. A net 33 is not that bad.
He hit it right on the head, though, with the Sikahema back there. You never know when he's going to break it and can break it all the way.
I'm sure that's what Gene Stallings was thinking. Get it in his hands anytime he can.
Saxon. Better kick this time from the 16. Sikahema should have taken it initially. It cost him 5 yards. Brings this one back to the 21-yard line. Eugene Lockhart down the field to make the stop. Cardinals have it. 7:23 to play in the 3rd period. Still Dallas by a field goal. Cardinals.
What'd they lose, Al? About 5 yards on that exchange, making the Cowboys kick again?
That was the difference. Had they not taken the penalty,
Pretty good gamble with the Sikahema.
they would have started at the 26. Instead, they begin from the 21. J.T. Smith goes in motion, and Lomax to put it right up, and Lomax hits A-Wall. On a slant pattern, he takes it out to the 36-yard line, and a first down to the fine receiving tight end, Robert Ewald.
I think this has worked almost every time they've tried it. They get man for man. Bill Bates, number 40. We've already told you he is a very strong, aggressive, strong safety, but he does not cover well man for man. Ewald, even though he's a tight end, can play outside, and he has the moves like a wide receiver. They are in that formation once again.
And they send Smith in motion again. Tony Jordan is in there as the tailback. He takes the toss. And the rookie works his way out to the 44-yard line. Leading the way was Tootie Robbins with a nice block, 63.
Oh, you can see right away what they like about Tony Jordan. When he planted that outside foot and turned it on, he really accelerated.
You have to wonder if maybe 6 or 8 games from now that maybe he's still running on that play. Really wasn't much of a hit that knocked him to the ground. Looks like he was expecting a bigger hit, but remember this name, Tony Jordan.
5th-round draft pick.
This guy may hit the big time.
2nd and 2. Earl Ferrell has a big hole and exploits it for a first down, getting to the Cowboy 42-yard line. Bates and Downs converge on the tackle.
You can do a lot of things, as you well know, Dan, when you can run the football like the Cardinals all of a sudden can run. And they love play action pass, but now they're moving it on the ground, and they're just blowing them right out of there.
Todd Pete, the left guard. Look how far he took Danny Noonan, 73 off the line of scrimmage. A good 4 or 5 yards. Big Todd Pete, 6'2", 295 in your program, about 315 on your field. A little literary license in the program.
Toss to Jordan on first down from the 42, and Jordan breaks it for a first down to the 30-yard line. Williams and Bates in on the tackle. They picked another running back, Tony Jeffrey, in the 2nd round, and then down in round 5 is this gem.
Oh, they've got you a beauty here. Again, the acceleration, following the block by Ferrell, planting the outside foot, finding just a little bit of a gap, and then turning on the speed, the rapid acceleration. Fine running and very sensible running.
Well, and the Cardinals continue to test the left side of their offense, going right at Garth Jacks and Jim Jeffcoat. They told us last night that was their game plan. They're sticking with it.
And they call Jeffrey's number again, and he loses the football. Loose at the 28-yard line. Dallas has it.
And the confusion there with Jordan is when he collided with his offensive tackle, Tootie Robbins.
This man has caused more turnovers. He has stripped more footballs. He's blocked more passes probably than anyone in this game. Now in his umpteenth year, 14 to be exact, and he just stripped the football out of there.
He cuts back to the inside, and he's going to hit his right tackle, 63. Watch Jordan when he makes this decision to turn upfield. Keep your eye on 63 there at the top of your screen. Jordan right here is going to cut back to the inside, and he goes ahead and hits Robbins and Too-Tall at the same time. Becomes distracted, and Too-Tall effectively just strips the ball right away and recovers it.
So after 2 good runs, Jordan coughs it up, ball at the 27-yard line, and Herschel Walker gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. And a nice play there by number 56, and that's Ken Harvey, who is the #1 draft choice of the Cardinals, and a man who really hasn't done very much thus far in training camp. He frankly has been a bit of a disappointment, but makes a nice play here to knife through and take care of Herschel Walker.
Well, you can't say, Dan, that the Cardinals have not tried to get linebackers over the recent years.
4 #1 draft choices on this Cardinals squad are linebackers: Harvey, Anthony Bell, E.J. Jr., and Freddie Joe Nunn, who's been moved to defensive end.
2nd and 11 from the 26-yard line. Pelluer throws to the 40, and that's Kelvin Martin making the catch in traffic for a first down. Talking about first-round draft choices, and the way the Cardinals have gone about it, there they are. Remember Clyde Duncan?
Clyde Duncan, a wide receiver from Tennessee, whose main claim to fame, he was Willie Gault's backup. A disappointment out of the league. Freddie Joe Nunn moved to defensive end, but a pretty good player. Bell, a disappointment. Stopper never even signed. And Ken Harvey, well, they're not all that pleased with Harvey's progress so far this year either.
Stopper now with Seattle after sitting out all of last year. From the 40, Walker taken down from behind by Anthony Bell. Gain of about 5. And the clock down now to 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
I want to go back to Anthony Bell for a moment right here, 55. You know, I use the word disappointment, and people might say, well, that's cruel. Well, it's got nothing to do with how good a football player, how good a person, rather, Anthony Bell really is or isn't. The fact of the matter is, he's a pretty solid outside linebacker, but he was the 5th player taken in the entire draft. That guy is supposed to be an impact player. He's supposed to make things happen. And so far in the NFL, in his career, Anthony Bell hasn't made anything happen.
2nd and 5 from the 45-yard line. And that time it's Walker, stopped by Nico Noga. Now they have so many first-rounders in there. Here's a guy picked in the 8th round out of the University of Hawaii.
You know what Dan said is even compounded by the fact that the Cards, with their record, they've been finishing so low. They've been drafting very low every year. And they just have not had the success one would think they would have picking in that lower 10 picks.
That guy does make something happen. Nico Noga has been a real pleasant surprise for the Cardinals and how well he's played in the middle. He was an 8th round draft choice back in '84. And when you get a starting middle linebacker with an 8th round choice, that's when it's working out pretty well for you.
Have him where he belongs, too, at the middle linebacker instead of that outside position he played last year in the 3-4. Here comes the blitz.
3rd and 5. And he throws it incomplete in and out of the hands of Everett Gay.
World-class throw by Pelluer.
And a world-class read by Pelluer. Not bad by Gage. Just should have hung on to it. It was McDonald, the safety, coming on the blitz. There he is, number 46, and right in Pelluer's face. But he was right on target, as we see once again. One that you've got to catch. You don't get that many opportunities.
That's Reggie Phillips, who was chasing, and Everett Gay just has to bring that down. A wasted effort that time by Steve Pelluer in the face of the blitz.
Mike Saxon sets up at the 30. Sikahema stands in his own 10-yard line. Cardinals, as they are prone to do when you have somebody like Sikahema set up a return, but he won't have a chance here as he makes the fair catch at the 22-yard line. Cardinals get it back. 90 seconds to play third quarter. Still Dallas by 3. And the Cardinals took the lead 7-3 on a Ferrell touchdown. Herschel Walker took it in to make it 10-7 Dallas. They eschewed a possible field goal at the end of the first half, did the Cardinals, that could have tied the game, and it remains 10-7 Dallas. Cardinals have it at their own 22-yard line.
Notice he's coming right back with Jordan still in the game.
And Lomax throwing. J.T. Smith couldn't handle it as he dove for it out at the 37-yard line. Covered by Robert Williams. Again, he's taking the place of the injured Ron Francis. There he is, Williams, doing the job at the corner until Francis gets back, which should be in a couple of weeks.
Great friends at Baylor. As a matter of fact, Robert Williams was an offensive player. Ron Francis, defensive back. Ron Francis out again with that dislocated shoulder. But it was Williams at one point backed Francis up at Baylor as a defensive back. So they've been together a long time.
2nd and 10. J.T. Smith is the man in motion. And then he sets up on the outside with Awalt in the slot, and he goes in motion. They look like Dallas used to. Ferrell. He runs into Jeffcoat at the 24-yard line.
Well, all that motion is designed by Gene Stallings because he thinks he knows the Cowboys' defensive scheme well enough that he can get the coverage. He wants to be in a position where he's dictating the coverage and dictating the defense. He thinks he knows the scheme well enough to pull it off. If he doesn't, no one else does. But something tells me Tom Landry is a little too sharp just to give him what he wants.
And, of course, he knows the defensive backs so well. He brought them all in when he was with Tom Landry. Downs, Walls, Bates, they were all there when Stallings was there.
All of them free agents.
3rd and 8. Novacek in motion. Lomax. He's given time, and then a little too high off Roy Green's hands. Incomplete.
Fine coverage downfield by the Cowboys. They picked up nowhere for Lomax to put it. Manny Hendricks right there on the coverage. A lot of time. He had plenty of time had the receivers been able to come open.
Jim Jeffcoat working to the inside, taking on both a guard and a center. Straps on the other guard and stays with it. Gets a shoulder on Lomax legally and drops him. That's good hustle by Jim Jeffcoat, especially on a hot night.
Greg Horn with another beauty. Backs Martin up to the 21-yard line. And a 9-yard return out to the 30. After a 52-yard Horn kick. 26 seconds to go in the quarter. On a very pleasant night. Turned out to be, I think, much, much better than most people anticipated in terms of the heat factor in Phoenix's first regular season game. 1st and 10. Dallas has it from the 30. Cowboys lead by 3. Off play action. The pass out to Cosby, who makes the catch at the 43-yard line. Tight end Doug Cosby makes his first reception of the evening.
The Cardinals offensively have kind of been putzing around a little bit here in the 3rd quarter, and they've got to be concerned about the Cowboys breaking a big play.
What have they been doing?
Putzing around, haven't you?
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Old St. Louis expression.
Yeah, right.
But I'd be a little concerned about the Cowboys making a big play.
Okay, into the 3rd quarter. We'll be back in Tempe, Arizona after this message about an upcoming show on ABC and a word from your local station. Sarge, ad infinitum.
Oh, like being in the barber chair looking in the mirror.
So we start the 4th quarter. Dallas 1st and 10 at its own 44-yard line. After a scoreless 3rd period, they lead by 3, and Herschel Walker swings to the outside and gets turned inside and knocked down by number 54, E.J. Jr., with Lonnie Young making sure he stayed down. Next week, and this is a very interesting early season matchup now because of the problems these two teams have. Eric Dickerson, pictured there, leading the Colts against the Cleveland Browns, who are 1-1, but right now with Kozar gone and Danielson gone, they signed Strock today. They have Pagel at quarterback. It's turned out to be a big game for those two teams.
Maybe they can get Gary Hogeboom.
Yeah. Hogeboom upset that Jack Trudeau is quarterbacking Indianapolis. Of course, that's subject to change any given series.
2nd and 9. Walker, and he gets taken down by Leonard Smith.
And that is a good tackle. Leonard works on the borderline. It's almost like every play is half an inch away from a personal foul, but this is the way you come up and challenge a receiver.
It was close.
Herschel almost got away. Luckily, Smith had the ankle, or he would have been gone.
Gene Stallings is doing what he's wanted to do all night long. He knows he's not going to stop Herschel Walker, just contain him, just keep him from killing you, and he's doing a pretty good job of it.
3rd down 4. Pelluer stays right in there and throws over the middle at the 40-yard line. Ray Alexander, the intended receiver.
And Herschel Walker, if he could have been seen by Steve Pelluer, had a touchdown. The Cardinal running with Walker fell down. Herschel knows it. He was all alone in front of the Cowboy bench, and that had been 6 points. But it was to the backside. Pelluer was working the right side of the field and never saw him.
Mike Saxon punting. Sikahema back deep. Sikahema tries to throw a block, and it goes into the end zone. Back out to the 20-yard line, and here is Walker now from the left halfback spot.
Watch him go out into the flat and then turn upfield, and Reggie Phillips, who's covering him, falls down. That's a touchdown if Pelluer only sees it.
Out how open he was. Might see it again, too, because even though the linebacker fell that was covering him, you just can't cover this man out of the backfield with the linebacker. That was a couple minutes ago, him telling Tom Landry how wide open he was.
Now the Cardinals start this drive from the 20-yard line, down by 3. Tony Jordan picks up about 3. He is stopped by Gary Cobb. We want to send our best wishes to Hank Stram. Hank became ill over the weekend in Indianapolis and is hospitalized there. And our best wishes to a great man and a good pal of ours, Hank Stram.
It goes for the entire world of football. He's got friends everywhere. I wish you the very best, Hank, or Henry, or whatever you like. One of the great ones.
Certainly is. And I have no question he'll work his way through this. Tough man. We are high above this stadium. There's a good look at how high up we are.
And they're talking about building the press box even higher next year. 2nd down and 7 from the 23-yard line. Jordan takes it to the 27. So upcoming a 3rd down and 3. And it's interesting that they've gone from Stump Mitchell, who had the big game last week and started out a little slowly tonight and has been averaging only 2.5 yards a carry, to crunch time now with Jordan.
Well, I think Jordan may be more capable of making the big play. He did have the one fumble that Dallas recovered, and there's the guy that's been doing it for years for St. Louis, but maybe they're expecting this guy maybe to break a big one. The Cardinal offense has to do something. They've been flat.
3rd down and 3, and it's Jordan who takes the pass out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He goes sliding into the Gatorade bucket.
Well, that's what they want from this man, though. He can take a little dump off and turn it into a big gainer as he did then. That quick acceleration.
Again, though, look how long Lomax had to survey the field. You'd have to say that Jordan on that particular play was at least the 3rd receiver and maybe the 4th guy that Lomax looked at. No pressure at all by the Cowboys up the middle. All the time in the world for Neil Lomax to find Jordan, and he takes it upfield. And
well, he's got another gear.
Man, he does for such a big guy. And that set of benches and tables is awful close to the field.
1st down from the 39-yard line. Ewald in motion. Fake to Mitchell, who's back in the game, and then sacked by Jeffcoat at the 30-yard line.
Well, he makes a nifty little inside move on the left tackle, Luis Sharp. It's just lined up. He's actually back off the line of scrimmage. This is a look at Jeffcoat right here. Watch him move upfield and then take the inside rush. And Luis Sharp, the left tackle, for some reason just lets him work back to the inside. There goes Jeffcoat to the inside. Sharp can't stay with him. And that's the kind of deal where a quarterback really has very little chance to do much of anything.
Kind of uncharacteristic, too, of Sharp, isn't it? Dan, he has great feet. That's what they tell you about him.
I remember when Luis was drafted as a rookie, I thought he had the best lateral movement and the best movement of feet of any lineman I'd seen in a long time.
2nd and 17, and they try to get a few of those yards back on an inside handoff to Earl Ferrell, who takes it up to the 37. 11 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. It's been a scoreless 2nd half. Dallas leading by 3. Ernie Stoutner.
And I think this defensive struggle by both teams' defensive units has certainly caught the 3 of us off guard.
Right now, you know, the offensive play being sent in from the sidelines by Schaffner for the Cardinals correlates with what Gene Stallings thinks that Ernie Stoutner, you saw a moment ago, has called defensively.
Good shot there of Randy White counseling Danny Noonan on what kind of a stunt they may run here. Let's watch and see if they do something.
3rd and 11.
Yep.
Lomax over the middle and incomplete and no flag. And then now a flag finally comes in. Bates had Novacek wrapped up. A late flag, but at least it came. And what they're saying now is the ball was tipped, which would negate the penalty.
There's no interference. The flag is picked up because the ball was tipped before the contact.
And that wipes it all away. I think Billy Owens is the player that gets his hand on it. Remember, he got one in the 1st half by playing that spy. You see 31 right in the middle of your screen? Boy, that's exactly the way he did it in the 1st half. Plays that spy position, and then just when Lomax goes to deliver the ball, gets up in the air and hits it.
Now Horn, the rush is on, but he gets it away. It's a good one, a real good one again, taken by Martin at the 11-yard line. And stopped at the 19. Ken Harvey, 51-yard kick, 8-yard return. 10:22 remaining in Tempe, Arizona. Dallas leads 10-7. Flashed to this point, but all of a sudden defense was the chant, and they're really into it with 10:22 to go. But the Cardinals have to get the ball back, and all of a sudden, I mean, out of nowhere came this noise.
What happened?
Somebody got him started. I don't know what happened. They were chanting while we were in commercial, defense, and then just kept it going.
I can't believe Steve Pelluer didn't go ahead and run the play. I mean, that would have been the end of it. Now he's created a monster, I'm afraid, in this of all situations.
10:22 left in the 4th quarter.
You know, this will apply out here. They'll probably stop.
Don't bet on it. They haven't. It probably feels pretty good to stand up. They haven't been up for a while.
And he's in the fully enclosed end of the stadium right now.
I'm amazed Pelluer's not going to try to run a play.
Well, this wake-up call comes at about 10 to 8 in Phoenix.
It's funny that this is happening because Gene Stallings was very critical of the Cincinnati fans last week, talking about how they didn't get a chance to effectively run their plays on the goal line.
And Larry Wilson was also contending that the crowd was being spurred on by Sam White.
Cosby's even going, come on, let's run. Did you see him?
Sure.
Nothing else. You take him back into the huddle and give him a quick count. You go on the first sound, or you go on a quick snap.
Well, you have to go back to the huddle here. You've left your line on the line of scrimmage too long. You're asking for somebody to forget a snap count, forget a blocking assignment. I mean, there comes a point in time where you retreat and go back to the huddle. Or run a play.
Good luck.
That's it, Steve. Just run it.
Do it. From the 19, still not going to do it.
We're on pins and needles up here, Steve.
Yep.
Doug ain't buying it. I think Cosby says, let's run a play.
You're right. I've never seen a team stay at the line this long without rehuddling.
I don't think I've ever seen the visiting quarterback ask the home crowd to quiet down either.
Now they're going to get a little bit of help from the Cardinals. Leonard Smith is asking the crowd, or was just before we took that shot of him, to quiet down. And Gene Stallings. And it's been a long time since they were in the huddle.
Stallings is telling Pelluer, go ahead and run it.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen this happen before in this type of a game situation.
Dallas trying to run it from the 19-yard line. They lead by 3.
Well, it sounds like the crowd's going to let them run. They've acquiesced.
Run out of gas. No, here they come again. Yeah, then there's movement on the right side by Cosby. Somebody had to forget the snap count.
The irony of that. He's been wanting to run it right from the beginning.
Well, I don't see a flag, do you? I don't see any flags. A tight end is allowed to move. But there was contact. You can't just ignore that now.
No foul!
You see, a tight end is allowed to move. But how do you just make the contact disappear? There's Cosby at the bottom of the formation.
Stepped right into Anthony Bell. Anthony Bell kind of lured him off a little bit, and the contact was made.
You know, that's interesting. I'd like to know, how do you get away with there being no flag if there was contact made? I mean, somebody came across the line of scrimmage. Bell came across and touched him.
The field judge going to turn his attention back to the action.
What they should have done to begin with. There will be no count here. They'll just go on the snap of the ball.
Finally, they get the play off. And they give it to Walker, and he gets upended at the 25-yard line. He somersaults.
Was that Noga?
Nico Noga making the tackle.
That's number 57 to the right of your screen. Watch how he flows. And Walker decides to cut it back up. Here comes the middle linebacker, knifing in and making a play. Anthony Bell, number 55, also down on his knees, partly responsible for tripping up Walker.
At the 25, second down and 4 for Dallas. That's Alexander in the slot. Martin split left, and Newsom in motion. And the handoff to Walker with a gaping hole and a first down on the 6-yard pickup out to the 31-yard line. First down with 9.5 minutes to play.
Good way to quiet the crowd also. Student and the master.
He was under Landry for so long. Gene now in his 3rd season with the Cardinals. And Tom, of course, since the inception of the franchise. 29 consecutive years as the head coach of the Cowboys.
Began that coaching career under Bear Bryant.
First and 10. Cowboys from the 31-yard line. Fake toss to Herschel. And a roll to the right, and a big gain for Pelluer, who goes out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
I love that call. What that does, not only picking up positive yardage, but it unsettles an entire defense. When a quarterback is willing to run that bootleg, get around, break, contain it, it gets the defensive team back in the huddle. They all start looking at each other. Whose fault was that? Who made a mistake? And I think it makes everybody now in a red jersey, Frank, a little more cautious.
He had the option right here. He tells Walczyk, go ahead. Walczyk, number 89, is the optional receiver, and Pelluer knows he's got the first down. Why risk putting it up? I'm a good athlete. I'll get the first down on my own. You like that?
Dallas at the 47-yard line. On first down, Walker into Cardinal territory, and he gets stopped by Lonnie Young, who puts his shoulder down to make the tackle.
I'm impressed with the way the Cardinals are playing defense. They're swarming to the football. They're not really giving Herschel all that much room. And when they have to make an open field tackle like this, Young uses a good technique, gets low, takes Walker's legs out from under him. It's really the two offensive teams for these respective teams that haven't done anything here in the second half. Defensively, it's been extremely well played.
Herschel Walker has gained 91 yards on 18 carries. Trying for more as he tries to get to the 100 mark, and he'll be close after that one as he gets a first down, and he's run out by Tim McDonald with 8:01 to play in the fourth quarter.
And what a weapon he is. He got that 7 yards on first down when he probably another back would have got a 3 or 4, would have gone down when hit by Lonnie Young. He sprawls for 2 or 3 more. He turns that one into a big gainer and another first down. This could well turn into another Herschel Walker drive. He basically, as he pointed out in the first half, was responsible for Dallas's lone touchdown. He's an amazing machine.
19 carries and 2 receptions. First and 10 at the 39.
They're confused. Newsome and Walker are really screwed up.
And still they get the play away to Martin. Last time they were screwed up was last week on that missed formation call by Pelluer when Newsome and Walker both knew something wrong had been called, but thought maybe the play would turn out okay anyway. Kelvin Martin making the catch here at the 32-yard line. Gain of 7.
We mentioned that last night to Herschel Walker. We asked him straight out, why didn't he say something to Pelluer on that play that Pelluer threw the interception that they feel cost him a game against Pittsburgh? And he said, well, I learned something. He said, next time I will.
On 2nd and 3, Walker breaks it inside the 20. And out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Kerr and Newton help lead the way.
You're talking about a football player in Herschel Walker that is always only one missed tackle or one defensive mistake away from making some sort of a game-breaking play. And here it is. He's got the good blocking right there, but there's the missed tackle. And then it's another good 10, 12 yards for Walker. And still the Cardinals can't even get him to the ground.
You know, and Dan, in reality, there were 4 Cardinals that could have made the tackle on Walker. There were 4 of them that touched him. And nevertheless, he just kept breaking him until he takes it down to the 12-yard line. He's amazing.
And you see there, dead even, the entire Cardinal team and Herschel Walker by himself.
Walker swinging to the outside, gets inside the 10, tries to work his way toward the goal line, and out of bounds inside the 5.
And how about that nifty block out front by Nate Newton? The big man at 300 plus gets to the outside, and then rather just kicking a guy out, he goes ahead and gets him and pins him back to the inside to allow Herschel to go to the outside. Now there's a guard. When you get a guy like that out in front of you, you're talking about getting a guard out in front of a running back.
Like having a van out in front of you. Let's take a look at it again. This is designed to break in right behind Newton. Walker takes a good look at it. He realizes he can't do it. Leonard Smith is there, turns it up the sideline, and with that great acceleration that nobody seems to judge properly, he gets it down to the 5-yard line inside the 5.
Crosby in motion, 2nd and 2 from the 4. Walker, they can pick up a first down by getting it to just inside the 2-yard line. Ricky Hundley comes up to make the stop. Figures to be 3rd and inches.
Well, Pelluer is starting to have flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I think the Cardinals as well. Maybe it's time for them to doeth unto others.
Here's Zendejas. He's hoping that he's warming up for an extra point.
Cincinnati put a goal line stand a couple of times last week on the Cardinals. Maybe they'd like to turn it around.
3rd and inches. And they give it to the main man, and he's got the first down. Will be 1st and goal at the 1, and they're using the clock as well on this drive. We're down to 6:15 in the 4th.
When you play goal line defense, you have to have people coming over the top to make a hit. That time, everybody in a red jersey is down on the ground. Herschel Walker, when he took to the air, met absolutely no resistance whatsoever. Sailed easily for a first down. They're going to measure for this one. But when you play goal line defense, Frank, as you well know, you got to have those linebackers coming over the top to make it stick.
Secondary and your linebackers, they have to go up in the gaps and be ready to meet the ball carrier.
What kind of measurement was that? He made it by a yard.
Little drama here from the opening of the night of the regular season.
Here's a look at it again. Look at the Cardinals on the ground, and when Walker goes up, there's not a single person in a red jersey up in the air to try to meet him in the air. You're never going to stop anybody playing it like that.
Good luck trying to stop Walker 4 times on 1st and goal.
We ought to see it again. Well, that's what they should do.
Noga. Nico Noga, number 57, at least for the moment. Saves off the score.
You notice the difference there?
You can make the biggest and the best when they don't have their feet on the ground. You make the contact, they're going to stop. Watch 57. Catches him. He doesn't have the strength of the legs, and he stops right in midair.
Just totally the opposite of the way the Cardinals played it on the last down. Tremendous effort by Nico Noga. Almost broke the ball loose.
This time they come up in a split back set on 2nd and goal. Fake. Pelluer lost it out of the end zone. Intended for the tight end Folsom. 3rd and goal.
He's going to get that intercepted.
And everybody in Dallas just came right up off their chairs.
I don't know. Herschel got it down here. Give it to him again. He'll get it.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of shots at it.
If Landry had a chair, he'd have come out of it.
That looked an awful lot like the play last week in Pittsburgh.
Silver right, fireman 37. And he rolls. We know it well.
Yeah.
Now back to Walker in the eye. And it's a sneak by Pelluer. Touchdown. And this drive started, you'll recall, with the crowd delaying the inception of it for about 3 or 4 minutes. And yet he's able to march them down the field. Thanks mainly to the runs of Walker. And he scores himself to put him up by 9, going on 10.
The surge up front that time belonged to the guys in the white shirt. Plus, I think the snap count appeared to take the Cardinals by surprise. Pelluer was into the end zone before there was much of a reaction.
Zendejas just does boot it through. 13 plays on that drive. Herschel carried 9 times for 58 yards, and the Cowboys now lead by 10 with 5:23 to go. Zendejas is 5 of them, the brothers and the cousins. Now, who's with whom? You figure it out. They're jumbled up there. We'll have the answer for you.
And for $200, you can buy a vowel from Vanna.
That's right. Buy your own Zendejas. Dallas by 10. Kickoff fielded by Sikahema in the end zone. Sikahema takes it back out to the 29-yard line, and there's a marker down at the 16. Everson Walls made the tackle, and let's see about the penalty with Red Cashin telling us in a moment. 5:13 to play in the 4th period.
It's been relatively penalty-free on the kicking game tonight. Hasn't been all that bad. 1 or 2 illegal downfields, but you can see this one coming.
Personal foul against the Cowboys.
I think he got that reversed.
How could he point as a clip against the Cowboys?
That's what I thought, yeah.
How can the coverage team clip? Very effective maneuver. Dallas is
blocking below the waist on the kickoff. Number 52 of the kickers. Be a 15-yard penalty. First down and 10.
Who is he blocking for? Well, that's Sean Scott, a linebacker for the Cowboys, blocking below the waist. Unless he came in an attempt to disrupt the blocking scheme of the Cardinals and went submarining in. You must stay above the waist in all blocking, on all kicking, on all parts of the kicking game. That's a good look at something you don't see very often, I guess. Or not a good look at it, but seeing it happen.
Phoenix from the 43-yard line. Lomax out of the shotgun as they're down by 10, and he starts this drive by hitting J.T. Smith for a short gain. Clock down to 5 minutes now, and the Cardinals are down by 10, so they'll go without a huddle. A hurry-up offense. 2nd and 5. Earl Ferrell takes the inside handoff, gets into Cowboy territory, has a first down at the 44-yard line. Looking ahead, Cardinals have all of their timeouts left. 4:40 to go. First and 10 from the 45. Lomax, incomplete, penalty marker. Marker thrown, intended that time for Jones. And a penalty back at the line of scrimmage against Phoenix.
It'll work against Phoenix, but a good look at Everson Walls, who is one of the best at man-to-man coverage. He timed that absolutely perfectly. Came up, knocked it away.
Holding number 64 on the offense. Still first down.
Todd Pete
having to work against Randy White. White made a move to the outside. I think Pete, in trying to go with Randy and his upfield move, ended up going to the ground and hooking him. There's Randy White's move to the outside, second guy in, and 64 Pete goes with him, and you can see him getting hold of him from behind, the right hand right in the middle of his back. Even if you're not holding him, it looks like you are, and it's going to draw the flag.
First and 20. J.T. Smith, there's another penalty flag. Smith picks up 9 yards on that first and 20, but we'll see about the call that stops the clock with 4:19 to play. This time, that'll be a first down, a big break for the Cardinals. Look at that shot. Is that from the blimp?
Well, if it's not, there's a guy.
Yeah, we got a major scoop. Right behind us and looking into
No, that's across the field
Stadium.
Holding number 24 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down and 10.
Everson Walls, and that's a nice break because you go from first and 20 to first and 10 because of the defensive holding.
A very nice break.
Everson was not pointing to the bench. He was pointing to the official, but made that call. And he didn't like it at all. They never do.
At the 50 now. Lomax in the shotgun on first and 10. It's caught by Novacek. And Novacek is out of bounds at the 23-yard line. The play is dead back at the 23, despite the fact the crowd thinks he's inside the 5.
And Lomax is arguing whether or not he went out of bounds. But what an effort by Jay Novacek, whether he went out of bounds or not. What a play. What an effort to try to stay in bounds and make something happening when your team's 10 points behind. I think everybody, including ourselves, thought that he was going to be forced out right here. But he avoids that tackle, stays in. There it is. That's where he goes out of bounds, and a good call by the official. That was right at the 23.
And give that offensive line credit again. They gave Lomax all the time he needed to get there, and it was a lot of time because Novacek came from completely across the field.
On first and 10, it's caught in a lot of traffic by Novacek. Touchdown.
All right.
And a flag after the touchdown.
Yeah, that was Manny Hendricks. He went right to the head on Novacek, and that'll be on the kickoff. So Jay Novacek gets what he deserves, and the Cardinals are trying to give Manny Hendricks more than the yellow flag.
Where are my friends, he's saying.
Well, we've seen a few cheap shots in this game, and Hendricks knew darn well that Novacek was well into the end zone when he goes right to the head. Well, good for Jay Novacek.
Last year's starter, tight end, before his job was taken by Awalt. Good effort again. Breaking a tackle, breaking another tackle. He's got his eye on the end zone. He's going to get in there. And then comes the late hit. Hendricks.
You cannot go to the head in this league. Doesn't matter who you are, who you play for, how many Pro Bowls, you can't go to the head. And that's a penalty every time.
And this could have caused some damage right here. He grabbed his arm. Novacek couldn't roll with the momentum. That could have been a separated shoulder.
Well, the Cardinals, who've been sleeping offensively the entire second half, come alive in a hurry.
What'd they use, a minute and a half?
And the big play there, the holding against Everson Walls.
Del Greco, his extra point attempt is good. Difference in this game right now could still be that astute field goal attempt at the end of the first half when they opted for the trick play instead. 17-14 Dallas with 3 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And the Cardinals not only going down the field, doing it in a hurry, conserving all of their timeouts, and they still have the full complement of 3.
There'll be some harsh words over that sideline by Ernie Stoutner to that defensive unit. They got the lead, looked like a commanding lead. They sort of relaxed, settled back, gave up a couple of big plays. This one is far from over. And there's Ernie Stoutner. Well, he's hot. He never played that way. He wouldn't know how to play that way. Hall of Famer with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is angry.
Novacek, interestingly enough, was originally drafted by the Cardinals as a wide receiver. They had him bulk up, put about 30 pounds on, 25 pounds on, to bulk up big enough to play tight end. This guy was a decathlete when he was in college, tried out for the Olympic team back in '84 and ended up finishing 5th in the Olympic trials. Pretty good all-around athlete, Jay Novacek.
As I said earlier, had the starting job until about the 6th game of last year, and he has performed great here in the fourth quarter.
Dallas by 3. Del Greco from the 50-yard line, and it will come out to the 20. The Hendricks foul assessed on the kickoff. Earlier we talked about the Zendejases and matching them up.
How about a drum roll?
Well, they're jumbled right there, but then ta-da! Allen, Arizona State. Joaquin used to kick with New England. Luis, of course, with the Cowboys. Will he have a job next week? That's a good question. Max with the Packers, Tony with the Oilers. I say, will he have a job? Because they just signed Roger Ruzek before the start of the regular season, have a 2-game roster exemption, and he's eligible to play next week. He was eligible, in fact, tonight, but they opted for Zendejas. Timmy Newsom for a gain of 2, and the Cowboys, what they really need here is at least 1 first down to take that clock down and make the Cardinals use their timeouts defensively.
I think this crowd is having trouble adjusting to pro football. They don't know when to yell and when not to yell.
Sort of like London.
The last time the Cowboys are trying to make something happen, they're screaming. Now when it's really a tense situation, let's see if they can figure it out. Now's the time to make a lot of noise.
2nd and 8. Crosby goes in motion. And Pelluer throws it to Walker. And Walker keeps fighting. And they'll give him forward progress to the 27, and he stays in bounds. McDonald, number 46, in on the tackle.
Well, that's clearly the guy I'd get the ball to. And it was a good pass from Pelluer. Led him perfectly. I would go out of my way to make sure this guy had the ball every time. But, Frank, look how well this ball's thrown.
I'll tell you, first man there better call for help. Grab, hang on, and call for your friends. Tim McDonald is the initial Cardinal there. That hurt. McDonald's taking some shots tonight. And they have really been delivered by Herschel Walker to all of the secondary. He pounded on Lonnie Young, Leonard Smith.
Cowboys letting as much time run off the clock as they can.
Right now, the 45-second clock is down to 0. And it's a 3rd and 3 upcoming.
They just took a penalty.
Delay of the game. They let it go down to nothing.
What were they doing?
It's 3rd and 3.
I think
wanted to call timeout.
I think Pelluer thought that he could go down to the 2-minute warning.
I'm sure he did. And it's only 2:08. That's an unbelievable situation. Unless Pelluer said, I called for a timeout. What's going on here?
Oh, this guy's asking for big trouble. Steve, whatever you do, don't go to the sideline. You don't want to talk to Tom Landry.
Penalty is 5 yards for delay of game.
Here's the deal. The last play ended with 2:53 to go in the half. Then they start the 45-second clock. So he knew it would go down to 2:08, or he should have known, or somebody should have known.
You know, could it be that they made the mistake on the sideline, did not send the play into him?
No, he was clearly waiting for the clock to run down. Now, this is an official stoppage of the clock here.
Here's Landry now. It's going to be a 3rd and 3.
See, he's yelling at the officials.
Why?
See, I think it might have been made on the sideline. He thought that it could be run off, and that was not the case.
Instead, it's going to be 3rd down and 8 with 2 minutes to play. It's a very confusing situation with 3rd down and 9, and even after a delay of the game penalty, they begin to wind the clock, which is how we came down to the 2-minute warning. Stallings wanted to know what it was about. In the meantime, a critical 3rd and 8 here, because if Dallas gets the first down, the Phoenix Cardinals will have to take their timeouts on defense. And it's off Alexander's hands. And a flag is thrown.
Oh, and 2 officials were right there. Both of them the exact distance away. One threw it and one didn't. Reggie Phillips with the coverage.
And it could have come after the incompletion. Reggie Phillips was so aggressive, or he timed it just a little too early and made the contact. Let's see.
Interference, number 45 on the defense. Touchdown.
2 guys are there. Let's see. Was there contact before the arrival of the football? That's all that counts. Reggie Phillips, the Cardinal defender. The break to the inside. Tough to tell, but from that angle, it looks like Phillips had his right hand on the hip of Alexander.
They called it, he said 45, he meant 48 on the call.
Reggie Phillips was the Cardinal defending.
1st and 10 from the 32 is Herschel Walker now, and this forces Phoenix to use its timeouts on defense, meaning if they get the ball back by stopping them, they will have no timeouts remaining. 17-14 Dallas, 1:47 to go. Stallings very angry along the far side, and it could be a second gut-wrenching loss for the Cardinals, who came so close last week.
Here's another angle. Taking a look at the interference call. See the blitz coming in. Alexander makes his move to the inside.
Oh, that's close.
That is really close. I mean,
it's one you could call and one you would most often see not called.
The way things have been explained to us about how it's been liberalized a little bit in the secondaries. If Phillips had a hand on him, okay, it was there. The question is, did he move Alexander in any way? Did he interfere with his catching the ball? I don't know. Doesn't really matter who was called. It stands, and that's that.
2nd and 10 Dallas from the 32-yard line. Walker on a draw. And close to a first down at the 42-yard line.
Take a look at the interference once again, top of your screen. Again, the defender, Reggie Phillips, former Chicago Bear, playing it very tight, trying to prevent the first down. Makes the contact almost after the ball has come off the fingertips. It was so close.
He's called for his right hand. The official behind him, the official to the right side, makes the call. And you see the flag coming in from the right. He saw the right hand on the back of Alexander. You know, I guess you can say you run the risk of drawing that flag if you're going to put your hand on the hip of the receiver.
Get into a situation now where the Cardinals are going to have everyone up there hitting gaps, looking for the fumble, trying to jar the ball loose. You're going to see Herschel Walker with the football. And it's the type of a defense that a Herschel Walker could break for a big gainer, not just a couple of yards of possession.
Right now, all he needs are about 18 inches. And if he picks up the first down, that will write a finish to this one. And we can tell you about baseball. Cleveland beats the Yanks. Tigers rebound after yesterday's disaster to beat Toronto. And the Red Sox keep on rolling, beating Baltimore 6-1. Milwaukee a loser. Mets beat the Pirates on an 11th inning home run by Carter. And the other scores in the National League. Dodgers leading 4-0 in the 4th inning. 3rd down and 1. Cardinals had just used their second timeout. They have one left. A first down will effectively end the game here. Cosby in motion. Newsom in the block for Walker. Walker through the middle, and again, he only needed about a half a yard. Cashin stops the clock. Perhaps close enough for a measurement. He'll take a look, and he wants to bring in the change. It's either 4th down and a couple of inches, or first down and only one Cardinal timeout remaining.
Tom Rafferty appears to think that this one's in the bank for the Cowboys. Said 13 years of eyeballing those things from the field.
He's a little man in that group there now, Dan.
Only about 260 pounds.
And
he's right.
By a third of the length of the football. And the Cardinals can now only stop the clock once more. Not enough.
Well, Tom, the legs may not be what they used to, but the eyes are just fine. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or any other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited. And that's that.
First down, 42-yard line. Chandler in motion. Herschel Walker, and the Cardinals again can stop the clock just once more. And they do here. And our thanks to our crew, as always, headed by Ken Wolf, our producer, and Craig Janoff, who gets to stay home while directing.
Pretty pictures tonight.
Oh, beautiful.
Great job, guys.
Craig from the beautiful Valley of the Sun. Landry discusses things with Pelluer. Our guys up here, George Hill, Malibu Kelly Hayes, the all-time spotting job from high above Sun Devil Stadium.
Your designer spotter.
That's right. Absolutely. Comes with his own bottled water.
140 yards for Herschel Walker tonight, and he makes it look so effortless.
And the last game of last season, when the Cardinals, with a victory, could have gone to the playoffs, Herschel Walker, 137 yards. He likes the Cardinals.
Again, I think back to the Cardinals now trailing by 3 points. I think back to that field goal attempt, a 42-yarder by Al Del Greco, the last play of the first half. 3 seconds left on the clock, and they don't kick it. Cliff Stout flips it over his shoulder to Del Greco, and not Tom Landry, Gene Stallings, I think, is going to have a busy time in the locker room tonight explaining that one to the media.
Yeah, that's the fun part of it, isn't it?
Oh, as I speak.
Yep, here it is.
The flip over the shoulder, it looks good, but it goes nowhere.
Replays never change, do they?
2nd and 10 for Dallas from the 42-yard line, and they can run the clock out. And who better to do that than Walker?
Oh, the one I was talking about a moment ago. With everyone in there tight, trying to strip the football. It's a great time for a back like a Walker to go all the way.
So Dallas will be 1-1, and they avoid going 0-2 for the first time in 25 years. Washington is 1-1 after their come-from-behind win yesterday. The Giants are 1-1 after their incredible loss to the 49ers yesterday. Eagles are 1-1. And Phoenix, still a member of the NFC East despite the move west.
What are their chances when they open the season? 0-2, 1-10 of going to the playoffs?
That's right. And in this division, at best, 1-10.
Steve Pelluer with an interesting night once again for Dallas. But he's got a win in the bank.
Walker, meanwhile, as we leave you, winds up with 149 yards on 29 carries. He scored their first touchdown. Pelluer got their second on a sneak. Tom Landry will exchange well wishes with Gene Stallings, his former assistant, who goes back with his team a loser by 3, as in the first ever regular season game in Arizona, the Dallas Cowboys win it by a score of 17-14. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf saying goodnight from Tempe, Arizona. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Engineered like no other car in the world. By Lowenbrau, German for the Lions Brew. 600 years of Bavarian heritage for a smooth, hearty taste. And by Allstate for home, auto, and life insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. Saturday, ABC's college football has a doubleheader for you. The Michigan State Spartans host the 8th-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, and the national champion Miami Hurricanes take on the Wolverines of Michigan. And next week on ABC's Monday Night Football, an AFC divisional playoff rematch when the Indianapolis Colts visit the Cleveland Browns. Blip provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll talk to you next Monday.
A promotional